Hello children, welcome to Jatin Academy. Today we are going to start Chapter 3, Mindful Eating, A Path to a Healthy Body. So come on children, let us begin this interesting journey into the world of mindful eating. Every morning, Midhu and Mishti read the thought of the day on their school notice board. Today's thought was, Annena Jatani Jivanti. Mishti said curiously, "Oh, this is a Sanskrit verse. It means all living beings survive because of food. That means food is not just to fill our stomach, but it is an element that gives life. So today, let us also understand the importance of our food. All of us eat something or the other every day. But have you ever thought what exactly is it that we eat? Every day, every week, there is so much variety in our food. Sometimes paratha for breakfast, dal and rice for lunch, and maybe something light in the evening. But do we eat the same things every day? No, right? Our food keeps changing from day to day. If you compare your food with your friends, you will find that everyone eats differently. Some people eat more chapati, while others eat more rice. Some like sweet food, while others prefer spicy food. That means there is a great diversity in food in our country. Now think, does this diversity exist across the whole of India as well? Absolutely. Different crops are grown in different states of India, and the traditional food culture of each place is closely connected to those crops. For example, in Punjab, wheat and maize are grown in large quantities, so people there love eating makki di roti and sarson da saag. Along with a glass of cold lassi or chach, wow, what a delicious combination. Now let us move a little towards South India. In Karnataka, rice, ragi and coconut are grown in abundance. That is why people there eat dishes like idli, dosa, sambar and ragi mudde. And with a cup of filter coffee, the day feels complete. And if we go towards the northeast, in Manipur, tasty dishes made from rice and bamboo are very popular, such as eromba and singju. So did you notice something? The food of every state is based on its locally grown crops. Where there is wheat, people eat roti. Where there is rice, people eat idli or khichdi. Some places have coconut, some have millet, some have groundnut. Every region's soil, climate and culture decide what kind of food is eaten there. India truly is a country where the taste, color and form of food change every few kilometers. And this is the real beauty of our country, our food diversity. Midhu and Mishti are always curious to learn something new. Today, after learning about the food of different states, another question came to their minds. Have our cooking practices always been like this? Did people in earlier times cook food in the same way? Just think for a moment. Did the elders in your family, your grandmother or grandfather, eat the same kind of food that we eat today? If you talk to them, they will tell you that in their time, both the food and the way it was prepared were different. Earlier, most food was cooked on a chulha, a stove lit with firewood or cow dung cakes, filling the entire house with both smoke and aroma. Today, the same work is done so easily using a modern gas stove. Earlier, sil-batta was used to grind lentils and spices. That sound, chak chak chak, used to be the identity of mornings in the house. But now, everything is done in moments with a mixer grinder. Why did these culinary practices change? Why is today's food not the same as before? The answer is technology, transportation, and communication. Technology has modernized our kitchens. Items from far-off places now reach our cities and villages easily, and new information has connected us to foods from different regions. That is why today on our plate, we do not have only paratha or dal, but also pasta, dosa, and pizza. Now let us move ahead. Midhu and Mishti have reached the traditional food festival held in their school. The theme of the festival is Eat Healthy, Live Healthy. There are stalls of many delicious traditional dishes all around. Meanwhile, a nutrition expert named Dr. Poshita explains to the children, health is the ultimate wealth. That means our real wealth is our health. Now think, how do you feel if you skip one meal? Tiredness, irritation, and lack of energy, right? This happens because our body loses energy. That is why marathon runners drink glucose water during or after a race, because glucose gives instant energy. It is a carbohydrate, which is the main energy source for our body. Wheat, rice, maize, potato, sweet potato, banana, pineapple and mango, all these are carbohydrate-rich foods. Even the common sugar that we use every day is also a type of carbohydrate. Now think, why are laddus prepared in homes during winter? Because they contain atta, besan, ghee, gond and dry fruits, which give our body energy and warmth in cold weather. Ghee and oil are placed in the category of fats. Fat provides us with stored energy. Its sources can be both plants and animals. Groundnut, walnut, coconut, almond, pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds, all these are excellent sources of fat. Both carbohydrates and fats give us energy, so they are called energy-giving foods. Now pay attention. Polar bears store a thick layer of fat under their bodies. This helps them survive for months without eating during the period of hibernation. But is energy alone enough? No, our body also needs proteins for growth and repair. Milk, paneer, eggs, fish and meat, these are animal sources of protein. On the other hand, pulses, beans, peas and nuts are plant sources of protein. People who play sports need more proteins because they help in muscle building. That is why protein-rich foods are called bodybuilding foods. Proteins are very important for growing children so that their body can develop properly. Do you include protein-rich foods in your daily diet? If not, now is the time to think about it. And yes, have you ever seen mushrooms? They grow in damp and dark places. They are edible and a good source of protein. We have all heard that we should include fruits, vegetables and plant-based foods in our daily meals. But have you ever thought why this is said? Why can we not depend only on roti, rice or dal? The answer lies in our body's needs and in those food components that keep us healthy. A long time ago, when people used to travel across the seas for months, a strange disease began to spread. Sailors' gums would swell, start bleeding, and their bodies became very weak. In 1746, a Scottish doctor named James Lind observed that sailors who ate lemons and oranges recovered quickly. This disease was scurvy, which is caused by a deficiency of vitamin C. That means citrus fruits like lemons and oranges are not only tasty but also protect our body from this disease. Now, here is another interesting incident related to India. In the 1960s, scientists noticed that people living in the Himalayan regions and the northern plains were developing swelling in the front of their necks. This disease was goitre. The cause was iodine deficiency because the soil and water in those regions lacked iodine. The government found a solution to this problem. Iodine was added to common salt to make iodized salt. When people started using iodized salt, these symptoms gradually disappeared. This shows that sometimes even the lack of a small mineral can cause a serious disease. Do you know that in the Indian state of Gujarat, there is a tribal community called the Agriyas? They practice salt farming in a region known as the Little Rann of Kutch. For as long as 8 months, they live in the scorching desert and prepare salt from seawater. Because of their hard work, we get the salt that has become an essential part of our daily food. Now that we are talking about vitamins and minerals, let us understand what they do for our body. Vitamin A keeps our eyes and skin healthy. Its deficiency can cause problems like night blindness. Papaya, carrot, mango and milk are good sources of vitamin A. Vitamin B1 keeps the heart healthy and helps in many body functions. If its deficiency occurs, a disease called beriberi can develop, in which swelling or burning sensation is felt in the hands and feet and there is difficulty in breathing. Legumes, nuts, seeds and milk products provide vitamin B1. Vitamin C gives our body the strength to fight diseases. Its deficiency causes scurvy, in which gums bleed and wounds do not heal quickly. Amla, guava, green chili, orange and lemon are good sources of vitamin C. Vitamin D helps the body absorb calcium, which keeps bones and teeth strong. If vitamin D is deficient, a disease called rickets can occur, in which bones become soft and bent. Sunlight, milk, butter, fish, and eggs are good sources of vitamin D. Calcium itself makes our bones and teeth strong. Its deficiency can lead to problems like bone decay and tooth decay. Milk, curd, cheese, paneer, and soya milk are sources of calcium. Iodine is necessary for both physical and mental functions of the body. Its deficiency causes goitre, in which swelling appears in the front of the neck. Seaweed, singhara, and iodized salt provide iodine. And finally, iron. It is the most important component of our blood. If there is a lack of iron in the body, a disease called anemia occurs. Its symptoms include weakness, dizziness, and difficulty in breathing. Green leafy vegetables, beetroot, and pomegranate are good sources of iron. Our body is like a machine. Every vitamin, every mineral, every nutrient is necessary to keep some part of it working properly. If even one part is missing, the entire system becomes unbalanced. Children, by now you have learnt that our food contains many nutrients such as carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals that keep our body healthy. Now let us understand how we can identify these food components.
Activity 3.5. Let's find out what is present in our food. Today, Midu and Mishti decided to find out which nutrients are present in different food items. With the help of their mother, they brought some items: a piece of potato, cucumber, bread, boiled rice, boiled gram, chana, ground peanut, oil, butter, coconut. Now they place all these items on separate plates. Test for starch, identification of carbohydrates. Midu took a dropper from his mother and added 2 to 3 drops of diluted iodine solution to each food item. The iodine solution is light brown or yellow in color. Now let us see what happens. The piece of potato and bread turned blue-black. There was no color change in cucumber and peanut. The boiled rice also turned blue-black. Mishti said happily, "Wow, the items that turned blue-black contain starch." Conclusion: if a food item turns blue-black after adding iodine solution, it means that starch, carbohydrate, is present in it. If there is no color change, then starch is not present. Table 3.3. Observation table. Test for starch. Food item: change in color, presence of starch. Potato: blue-black, present. Cucumber: no change, absent. Bread: blue-black, present. Boiled rice: blue-black, present. Boiled gram: slight or no change, slight or absent. Crushed peanuts: no change, absent. Oil: no change, absent. Butter: no change, absent. Crushed coconut: no change, absent. Test for fats. Activity 3.6. Let's investigate with Midu and Mishti. Midu and Mishti now decided to find out which food items contain fat. They used the same food items that they had tested earlier for starch: potato, cucumber, peanuts, coconut, butter, oil, bread, and boiled rice. Step 1. They placed a small piece of each food item on separate pieces of paper. Step 2. Now they gently folded the paper and pressed the food item in the middle, taking care that the paper did not tear. Step 3. If the food item contained some water, they allowed the paper to dry. After some time, Mishti noticed there was an oily patch on some of the papers. Midu said, "Hey, look, some of the papers have become shiny." Mishti said, "Yes, when we hold them in front of light, the light passes through slightly." What does this mean? The food items that left an oily patch on the paper contain fats. Table 3.3. Fat test results. Food item: oily patch, presence of fat. Potato: no, absent. Cucumber: no, absent. Bread: no, absent. Boiled rice: No, absent. Boiled gram, slight, slight. Crushed peanuts, yes, present. Oil, yes, present. Butter, yes, present. Crushed coconut, yes, present. Test for proteins. Activity 3.7, Teacher's Demonstration. Now it is time to find out which food items contain protein. The teacher took a pestle and mortar, a tool similar to a sil bata, and prepared a paste or powder of the food items. Half a spoon of each item was taken in separate test tubes. Now in each test tube, the teacher added 2 to 3 spoons of water, 2 drops of copper sulfate solution, and then 10 drops of caustic soda solution. The test tubes were shaken and left undisturbed for some time. After a while, Mishti observed, "Ma'am, some of the test tubes have turned violet." The teacher smiled and said, "Correct. A violet color indicates the presence of protein." Table 3.3 Protein Test Results. Food item, color change, presence of protein. Potato, no change, absent. Cucumber, no change, absent. Bread, no change, absent. Boiled rice, no change, absent. Boiled gram, violet, present. Crushed peanuts, violet, present. Oil, no change, absent. Butter, no change, absent. Crushed coconut, no change, absent. Observation and conclusion. Now, Madhu and Mishti carefully looked at all the information. They found that 1. Peanuts contain both protein and fat. 2. Butter, oil, and coconut contain only fat. 3. Rice, bread, and potato contain starch. 4. No food item is alone. Most foods contain more than one nutrient. That is why we should eat different kinds of food every day so that our body gets all the required nutrients. Children, now that Madhu and Mishti have completed all 3 tests, the starch test, fat test, and protein test, let us look at their final observations. They made a table in their notebook called Exploring Nutrients Present in Various Food Items. First, they tested potato. When iodine solution was added, it turned blue-black, which means potato contains starch, but it does not contain fat or protein. Next was cucumber. There was no color change and no oily patch on the paper. This means cucumber does not contain starch, fat, or protein. Then they tested boiled rice. Just like potato, it turned blue-black on adding iodine, which shows that it contains starch but no fat or protein. Now came boiled gram, and the results were interesting. There was no significant change in the starch test, but in the protein test, the color turned violet. This shows that boiled gram contains protein and a small amount of fat. After that, they tested peanuts. This time, a clear oily patch appeared on the paper, and the protein test also turned violet. This means peanuts contain both fat and protein. That is why peanuts are called energy-rich foods. Next, they tested bread or chapati. When iodine was added, it turned blue-black, showing the presence of starch, but there was no fat or protein. Then came butter. A shiny, oily patch appeared on the paper, which showed the presence of fat, but there was no starch or protein. Finally, they tested coconut. It also left an oily patch on the paper, meaning it contains fat, but no starch or protein. So, children, Madhu and Mishti learned that every food item may contain one or more nutrients. For example, peanuts contain both fat and protein, potato and rice contain starch, and butter or coconut contain mainly fat. That is why we should eat a variety of foods every day, so that our body gets all nutrients in the right amount. Do all people have the same nutritional requirements? Do you and your grandparents need the same nutrients? Of course not. Each person's needs are different, depending on age, gender, physical activity, health status, and lifestyle. Now, think, did the food you ate last week contain all the nutrients needed for your body's growth and development? If not, which nutrients were missing? In fact, a diet that contains all essential nutrients, roughage, and water in the right amounts is called a balanced diet. A balanced diet is very important for the proper growth and development of our body. If your food lacks any nutrient, it means you need to make some changes in your diet. Now, let us make a small comparison. Suppose you have two packets. One contains potato wafers, and the other contains roasted chana. Potato wafers provide about 536 kilocalories of energy and contain a very high amount of fat, around 35 grams. On the other hand, roasted chana provides only 355 kilocalories, with just 6 grams of fat. However, roasted chana contains much more protein and dietary fiber. So think, which food is more beneficial for your body? Clearly, roasted chana is more nutritious. There are some foods that look very tasty, but they contain a very high amount of sugar and fat. They contain very little protein, minerals, vitamins, and fiber. Such foods are called junk food. Examples include potato wafers, candy bars, and carbonated drinks. Eating such foods frequently can lead to obesity and many health problems. Always remember, health is the ultimate wealth. Healthy eating and staying away from junk food keep our body fit and energetic.
Now think, among the two foods given in Activity 3.9, which one is junk food? Correct, potato wafers. Whenever you buy any packaged food item, always read the nutritional information given on the packet. Sometimes extra nutrients are added to foods during processing to improve their quality. Such foods are called fortified foods, for example iodized salt and some baby foods. In India, the quality of these foods is regulated by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, FSSAI. Now let us talk about a very interesting topic, millets, our country's traditional grains. You must have heard of Jowar, Bajra, Ragi and Sama. These are native crops of India and can grow easily in different climatic conditions. Millets may be small in size, but they are big in nutrition. They contain vitamins, iron, calcium and dietary fiber in abundant amounts. That is why they are called Nutri-cereals. Millets are extremely important for the proper functioning of our body and for a balanced diet. Now think for a moment, the food that reaches our plate travels a very long journey. A farmer sows seeds in the field, plants grow, crops are harvested, the grains are milled, then they reach the market and finally come to our plate. This entire journey is called food miles, the total distance a food item travels from the producer to the consumer. Reducing food miles is very important because it lowers both transportation costs and pollution. It also supports local farmers and provides us with fresh and healthy food. Unfortunately, many people waste food by leaving it on their plates. We must remember that behind every single bite lies the hard work of farmers and many other people. So always take only as much food as you can actually eat. This will reduce food wastage and make all of us more responsible. Food is not just a way to fill our stomach, it is also a respect for our culture, our health, and our hard work. So always remember, eat healthy, share, and respect food. Support local producers. If you liked this video, please like, share, and do not forget to subscribe to Jatin Academy so that you keep getting such fun and knowledge-filled videos. See you in the next chapter with a new story and new concepts. Bye.